We are just a few days away from the first pay-per-view in 8 weeks. And not only do we have 2 title fights to look forward to, we have a stacked fight card from bottom to top. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks. And I'm going to break down the entire UFC 320 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and DraftKings Fantasy Plays. But before we dive in, let's look at the piles, the wheelbarrows, the cartons full of money that people are making using the website to build DraftKings fantasy lineups. Now, obviously, results may be mixed, and that's the beauty of this. Over the last year or so, we have put up over $1 million of winning DraftKings fantasy tickets from you, the community, the premium members. Not every premium member plays DraftKings fantasy, but those who do have full access to all of our tools and all of the insight we have on the website. These are people who have gone to wewantpicks.com. It's $10 for access to everything, unlimited access to everything for an entire month, only $10. And they use the tools to build DraftKings fantasy lineups. And the beauty of this, of the $1 million plus over the last year or so, is that some of these tickets are tremendous. $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. We had a $70,000 winner. Some of the tickets are huge. The $70,000 wasn't in the last year, but some of those tickets are huge. But other tickets are smaller, a couple $100, $1,000, $500, $300, $150 on a $2 entry. And that's the beauty of this. No matter who you are, no matter how you want to play your DraftKings fantasy, whether you know how to use the tools or not, we've got winners across the board, people making a couple of dollars having fun with their friends, and people trying to pay their bills. If you go to wewantpicks.com, you have full access to everything. Every pick, every bet, every tool. And these are the tools that the people are using to build DraftKings fantasy lineups. The very first tool that I'm going to highlight here is the Event Simulator. This simulates every single fight on this card 100,000 times. And through those 100,000 simulations, it's going to identify who's going to win, how they're going to score points winning, who should be in your lineup, who should not be in your lineup. And then you can take all this information, all the wins and losses through these 100,000 simulations, click build lineups, and build some DraftKings fantasy lineups. If you're more of an old school fantasy kind of guy, we have an old fashioned optimizer. The optimizer is going to build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. It's going to be preloaded with some of the best ownership on projections on planet Earth. It's going to be preloaded with some scoring projections. You click a few buttons, you make a few adjustments, it's going to spit out up to 150 lineups for you. But if you're watching this video, if you're like, hey, I came for the picks, what the hell is he talking about with DraftKings Fantasy? Well, you know fantasy football, I assume. It's the same shit, but for MMA. You draft a lineup of professional fighters on this fight card. You then compete with other people that have lineups made up of the same budget. Very simple, very straightforward. And we have tools that will just do the lineup building for you. And if you've never used an optimizer before, we have the industry's first beginner mode. I just clicked that little slider at the top, and now beginner mode is activated. Instead of expecting you to be Rain Man and understand how it works, it's just going to ask you a series of very simple, high-level questions. Who are your most confident favorites? Who are your most confident underdogs? Are there any fighters on this card that you don't even want to look in the general direction of? You answer those questions, it builds lineups for you. Every single thing I just mentioned, 50 other things, copy-paste bets, full-blown insight, tools, DraftKings, FanDuel, everything. It's one package. It's not the scam Roto Grinders is running, and they're not running a scam, but you get what I'm saying. Hyperbole scam with charging a fortune and having random packages and slicing and dicing and trying to make it so that it's impossible for you to just pay a small amount of money. You have to keep shifting. And while I do also want bullshit, $10 flat. No upsell, no cross-sell, no packages. Everything is $10 for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's go ahead and dive into this fight card. We've got 14 fights to break down. We had a switcheroo. The last time I broke down this card, Ateba Gutierrez was fighting Ozzy Diaz. He is no longer fighting Ozzy. He has a new opponent, and I'm going to break that down for you. When we get to it, we're going to start with the opener of the UFC 320 fight card. That's Veronica Hardy. She's taking on Brogan Walker. Veronica Hardy wins this fight. She is better in every single aspect of MMA, but as you can see here, she scores fuck for shit. She does not score well. Her salary is $9,600. That is an indication of the expectation that she will win this fight. And I do think she wins this fight. I think she wins this fight 99 out of 100 times, and that 100th time she blew her knee out in a weird scramble. But she's not going to finish Brogan, at least not in my opinion. And in order for Veronica to be worth all of this money, she's going to need a bunch of takedowns. And even with 4 takedowns in a win over Juliana Miller, she only scored 92 points. She has $9,600. These are finishing numbers. She's not going to finish here. And that's because Brogan Walker is tough. She fights once every 2 or 3 years, so I guess she's like a cicada just rising from the earth. It's her time to make a whole bunch of random noise. And while she's here, she is going to lose yet another fight, 0 for 3 under the UFC umbrella. But she is tough. She takes her beating. She is pretty tough. Juliana Miller poured it on her, but this version of Juliana Miller is the best version we have ever seen. Juliana hasn't looked anything like this since then. Not even remotely close. That was like Juliana Miller on a warpath. Brogan Walker's an okay fighter. The problem is she's very inconsistent. Veronica Hardy has good striking. She can squeeze in the wrestling when she needs to. Brogan Walker will just take her beating. She thinks she's a striker, but she's actually a jiu-jitsu black belt. None of it matters. Veronica's going to win this fight, but I'm not going to put her in my lineup, so who cares? Then we have Austin Vanderford taking on Ramiz Brahimaj. Austin Vanderford, a wrestler, an OnlyFans star and a wrestler. He wants to come forward, just shoot a takedown, good old-fashioned get on top and fire away. That's what he did in his UFC debut. He got on top. He TKO'd Nikolay Veretennikov, who we will break down literally next. He can be chinny at times, but he's just a hard-working, blue-collar wrestler. And obviously, the tattoos indicate that he's going to throw things at ice when they're in your neighborhood. But the reality is, he's just a blue-collar, move forward, try to get a gritty, grindy takedown, and work on top kind of fighter. He is taking on Ramiz Brahimaj. And while Ramiz isn't exactly the most well-rounded guy in the world, what he is a very high-level grappler who has power in his hands. That's it. Takedowns aren't spectacular. The striking's not spectacular either, but he does have power in his hands, and he can submit you. Every single one of his finishes or wins are by finish. 11 of those finishes are submissions. He is a finisher through and through. He has power in his hands. He is tough, though, so even if he's getting taken down and beat on a little bit, he might survive. You'll see this Max Griffin fight that he got finished. That's because his ear fell off. And I am not joking. Google it. Then we have, Austin Vanderford at $9,200 is tricky because I do think he wins this fight. He's going to need I don't think we're going to get these TKO points, right? I don't think he's going to finish. But I do think he could potentially score pretty well with the takedowns, with the control time. There's a couple of other fighters on this card that I'm far more confident in, so we'll probably lean in their direction. But Austin may not be the worst person for a lineup. Then we have Jakub Wiklacz taking on Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix's UFC debut was so bad, the UFC said, let's go scrape up some dude from KSW and maybe Patchy can beat him. And that's what we have here. We got Jakub Wiklacz. He's a nasty grappler, and he will look for a finish on the ground at all costs. On the feet, he's basically just sprinting forward. He doesn't even throw punches half the time. Just runs forward, looks for a takedown. On the ground, he will take chances. He will put himself directly into harm's way to try and find a finish. It's been working for him. I mean, on the regional scene, he's got plenty of wins. He'll roll for a knee bar. He'll jump guillotine. He doesn't care if he's going to end up from mount to his back. He will just go for it. And the reason that could be somewhat problematic in this fight is Patchy Mix is a good grappler. Did Patchy Mix disappoint his bloodline for generations to come in his UFC debut? He sure fucking did. He sure did. And I know this stat says 122 significant strikes. Dude, stats lie. People who say stats don't lie. Stats lie. Go watch that fight. Go watch that fight. It looked like he did literally nothing. Whoever's in charge of the clicker, I don't know if you knew this, but the significant strikes and the strikes, those are not a computer. A human being with a clicker is sitting cage side watching click. That was significant. It is subjective. It's just up to that person if they thought that was a significant strike or a regular strike. And that person will just click, 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 click. So that person was very clearly working through some addiction issues to give Patchy Mix 122 significant strikes. Patchy Mix is actually a good fighter. Now, you wouldn't get that from the UFC debut, but maybe it was the long layoff. Maybe it was the short notice. Maybe it was the fact that it was a UFC debut, the bright lights. I don't know what the problem was, but he didn't do much there. Maybe it was that Mario Batista is actually very good. Patchy Mix is a good fighter. He's got very good grappling. He's got decent striking. He is pretty tough. The problem is you can't always trust him to stick to the game plan he should be sticking to. This was his second loss ever. His first loss looked very, very similar. I think Patchy Mix wins this fight because he's fighting somebody who wants to grapple with him, and he's a very, very, very good grappler. So Patchy is getting the exact fight that he wants. And I think that's good for him. $9,000, however, is a little tricky because he's going to need a submission. And while Jakub Wiklacz puts himself into harm's way like an idiot, I don't know how finishable he actually is. So I'm probably going to fade Patchy this time. I do think he wins. I have a bet on him in real life, but as far as DraftKings is concerned, I don't know what this fight will look like. He might be so desperate to just get a win that he's going to easy breezy coast. Take no chances, just coast to a win, hang out on top, not score very well. So we're going to leave it alone, but I am pretty confident that Patchy gets it done. Then we have Nikolay Veretennikov, and he is taking on Punahele Soriano. Nikolay Veretennikov is a powerful, aggressive striker. He plots forward. Every single thing he throws is with power and intent. He will occasionally throw out some low kicks. He'll occasionally try to set some things up. But for the most part, it's just big hooks and he launches right hands. He's pretty durable, at least on the feet. He has no problems in a firefight, but he does have some grappling holes. We saw that in the Austin Vanderford fight. Once he's on his back, he does not have much to offer. He did, however, sort of flip that script and work in his own offensive takedowns in his last fight against Francisco Prado. He had 2 takedowns and his first ever UFC debut. His first ever UFC win. He finally turned that corner after 2 losses. He is taking on Punahele Soriano. It's a tale of multiple careers because he started his career as a 185-pounder who was just knocking people's lights out. Then people started to figure out. People realized, like Allen realized, if I just use clean technical striking, he can't do shit. Maximov realized, even though Punahele Soriano is a Division III wrestler, he can't take me down, and I'm going to be able to take him down like crazy because Punahele's takedown defense is god-awful. Then a couple of other random issues, and he reinvented himself at welterweight. He has had success at welterweight. In his first welterweight fight, you can see the 5 takedowns. He really turned around and went back to his roots. He is a Division III All-American wrestler. That's not nothing. That's a very real accomplishment. Problem is, he knocked a few people out. He has power in his hands, so he just abandoned his wrestling. But when his back was against the wall and his career was struggling with 1 win in 5 fights, he went back to his roots, lost the weight, took the shots, won that fight. He then, quick turnaround, fought Uros Medic, knocked him out too. My one and only concern in this fight, Punahele should win. He's a very good grappler. He's fighting a guy with grappling holes. It should be that easy. My only concern is that Punahele did just knock out Uros Medic. And we've seen it. We've seen it with him, let alone other fighters. You get the knockout. You realize how much easier that is than actually wrestling, and you don't wrestle. And if he comes into this fight against Nikolay Veretennikov, throwing bombs, going strike for strike, Punahele might get knocked out. Punahele is going to be the pick. $8,800 is honestly probably a decent price point if you trust him to do what he did against Miguel Baeza, get a bunch of takedowns, a bunch of control time, and play it safe. I do think he does that. He will be the pick. But if Nikolay shoots his own takedowns, this could get very weird very fast. Then we have Yana Santos taking on Macy Chiasson. Macy Chiasson is somebody I've been very high on in the past. She's right here in Dallas. I live just outside of Dallas. She's right here in Dallas at Fortis MMA. And Fortis did an amazing job with her because they evolved her from a pure striker and they added wrestling. The problem is, I feel like, in my opinion, Macy Chiasson has overcorrected. She was a pure striker. She's crazy tall for this division. She uses that Muay Thai length for the Muay Thai techniques, and it's great. She does a great job. And then she started wrestling. And now she's basically a wrestler. Look at these last couple of fights. 6 takedowns, 3 takedowns, 2 takedowns, a takedown. And then in the last fight, Ketlen Vieira is just bang on a completely different level. And that's what makes this breakdown so tricky is because I know Macy has all the tools. And if she mixes in all of the tools, starts striking, uses the range that she's developed, threatens there, and then shoots a random takedown, she'll have success. But we've seen her just do one or the other, not both. And she's fighting a very good striker in Yana Santos. Yana Santos does have some, I'm going to say grappling holes, but her stats are literally 50-50. She is 50% takedown defense, 50% takedown offense. She's just halfway across the board. But she has fought some very good fighters. Holly Holm, Carol Hossa, beautiful, fast, skinny Chelsea Chandler, Misha Tate, Irene Aldana, Ketlin, Julia Stoliarenko, Aspen Ladd, Mario Renault, first ever women's bantamweight champion. Bet you didn't know that. Lena Landsberg. She was a professional kickboxer. How about me knowing all? This is Cyborg, Justino. Listen, here's the reality. Yana Santos is a very good striker. She can manage range. She's got decent power. She got good kicks. She actually will sneak in an offensive takedown or two if she needs to. I think Yana Santos can win this fight, and I think she's a great underdog. When you build a DraftKings fantasy lineup, you need underdogs. And I think she's a decent one because she is tough. And let's go to some of these decision losses. She scores pretty well in these losses. The Carol Hossa lost 56 points. I mean, the reality is, I think she could outright win this fight. If Macy Chiasson comes in here and is trying too hard to be a wrestler and abandoning the striking, all that's going to do is give Yana Santos the opportunity she needs to take over the striking, and these fights are in Las Vegas. So even if Macy gets a takedown or two, if he doesn't do anything with them, the commission is not going to give a shit. They only care about damage. They only care about trying to finish. And I think in this matchup, it's very well set up for Yana Santos. I understand the love for Macy. I think Macy's a great fighter. I've made a lot of money off Macy in the past, but this might be a really good dog spot for Yana Santos. Then we have Daniel Santos taking on Ju Sang Yu. Daniel Santos is a slight favorite here, and I think it's a solid discount, and I think we need to jump on it. If we run through his fight history, 113 points in a decision win over the Korean Tiger. 106 points in a decision win over Muniz. 120 points. There was a finish there. This dude puts up points. And that's because Wily Cat, Daniel Santos, can do whatever he wants. He can strike. He can grapple. He's aggressive. He can get sloppy, but it doesn't matter because he's just always doing something. He is always scoring points. He is always working towards something. Daniel Santos does have that very trademarked shoot a box, get hit, drop like you're almost unconscious, then pop back up like nothing happened. That can be concerning here because of the power on the other side, but I think Santos is in a great spot here. I think $8,300 is a discount because let's say he wins a decision. Look at the numbers he puts up in decisions. But people are torn here. The public underdog is Ju Sang Yu. Ju Sang Yu is everybody's favorite underdog this week. All because he knocked out Jekka guy. I don't think you guys know how bad Jekka guy is. That's like if I walked up to a baby, slapped that little rat in the mouth, and then we're like, dude, Angelo hits hard. You see how much that baby cried? Dude, Angelo hits hard. That's the same thing. Jekka guy sucks at fighting. Guy's terrible. He's terrible at fighting. He's not good at it. He's terrible. He needs another job. Ju Sang Yu came in and beat up somebody who was shitty at beating things up. So Ju Sang Yu getting a little more credit than he deserves. But with that being said, he is undefeated, so you just never know what that'll become. A 9-0 fighter could end up being 35-0 or 9-1 come Saturday. He's a good prospect. He's fluid. He hits hard. He's got a wide stance. He manages range really well. He picks his shots. He moves like Alex Pereira. Like plotting, pop up, and then he changes directions. He is good. If you just watch with your eyes and see what he's doing to other people, he's good. I just think he's getting too much credit for a very underwhelming win. I'm going to pick Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos has wins at this level. Daniel Santos has fought the better people. Daniel Santos puts up big numbers. Daniel Santos will be in my lineup. Then we have Farid Basharat taking on Chris Gutierrez. Another fade. Farid is the pick. Farid will not be in my lineup. Let's keep it that clear. Let's run through his fight history. He beats Victor Hugo. Looks good doing it. Beats Taylor Lapilus. Looks good doing it. He did score well against Rodriguez because he subbed him, but that's not going to happen here. He beats Blackshear. Looks good doing it, but he doesn't score well. Farid Basharat is like old school martial arts, like that karate, taekwondo-ish stance. He bounces around. He manages range really well. He's got very good high-level wrestling. We've seen it. 4, 5, 2, 3 takedowns. We've seen it. He's very good. He wins this fight. But if I am building a DraftKings fantasy lineup and I spend $9,500 on somebody and he gives me 86 points in return, I'm a little angry. And he's done that every single fight. $9,100 to score 82 points. 89 to score 87. 96 to score 88. If we go to the other side, we got Chris Gutierrez. Chris Gutierrez is a good fighter. He's not going to win this fight, but he's a good fighter. He's got good leg kicks, good striker, manages range. There are absolutely, without question, wrestling holes. The fact that he hasn't closed those up yet is a little bit surprising, but he can be taken down. He just beat Castaneda in a pretty fun fight. He beat Lee before that. Obviously, he loses to Song Yadong, but that's a good loss. Chris Gutierrez is good, and if he gets the leg kicks going, he can slow people down. He could fundamentally change the direction the fight is going. But Farid Basharat moves too much. For Chris to be able to land those leg kicks, he's going to have to plan. He's going to have to change direction. That's not going to work well for him. I think Farid wins this fight. But Farid's too expensive for a DraftKings fantasy lineup. $6,700 for Chris Gutierrez. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, well, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. $6,700 is an insult to Chris and what he has done. He has wins at this level. A lot of them. A lot of wins at this level. Problem is, I don't think he wins this fight. And throwing somebody in my lineup because he might score 38 points in a loss is like, ugh. But given the prices on this fight card, the $94, $95, $9,600 price points on this fight card, we might need Chris Gutierrez in our lineup. You might literally need him in there to afford some of the other people. This is an unbelievable price point. He's a good fighter. I don't think he wins, but I also don't think he gets finished, and he can score some points along the way. So if he's in your lineup as a slot filler because you were top heavy, I get it. I don't think he wins, but I get that technique. Then we have Edmen Shahbazyan taking on Andre Muniz. This is grappler versus striker. One of these dudes is getting finished. And fun fact, of the 14 fights on this fight card, this is the only fight. We don't have odds yet for one of them, but this is the only fight where we under on the round line is juiced. Every other fight, it's the over on the round line that's expected to happen. Edmen Shahbazyan is the striker in the striker versus grappler matchup. He's got good power. He's got impressive kicks. He can be taken down, and then that's the problem. Therein lies the problem, because if he is taken down, he doesn't just pop back up. He doesn't create scrambles. He doesn't threaten. He just kind of survives. But he does have very real power. He's got good footwork. He's very well-rounded for the most part on the feet, meaning he'll kick, he'll punch, he'll elbow. He's got good footwork. He gets creative with where he's sending his strikes. Big gaps on the ground. And it's going to matter here because he's fighting Andre Muniz. Andre Muniz shines on the ground. Striking-wise, he's decent too. Striking-wise, he's got decent technique. His chin is going. He doesn't really have any power, but he's got decent technique. His takedowns are okay. He'll shoot real takedowns. Look what he did to Jung Young Park. 11 takedowns in that fight. That was actually ridiculous. It was ridiculous. He got 11 takedowns in that fight. But on the ground, very, very, very insanely good grappler. There's levels in grappling, and while he's probably not all the way up here, he's right there. Like, he's better than most black belts. I don't think he's elite, but he's better than most. And obviously, MMA is different than a mat, but Andre Muniz is a very good grappler. If he gets his fight to the ground, he's winning. If Edmen keeps it standing, he's winning. I'm going to pick Edmen here because if you go watch Edmen versus Gerald Meerschaert, he bruised, battered, beat the fuck out of Gerald Meerschaert, then made a mistake, got tired, did some dumb shit. I think this is a different fight. I don't think Andre Muniz could take the beating that Gerald Meerschaert took. Andre Muniz was just put out by Aliskirov, and he wasn't just one punch knocked unconscious, but dropped, finished. Paul Craig did the same thing to him. Like, he gets finished in these losses. All 7 of them. He's getting finished in the losses. I think Edmen is in a place where when you're only worried about being taken down, you can defend the takedowns. Because Andre, I don't think he's going to pose much of a threat on the feet. So then he's just going to get desperate, dive at legs. I think Edmen can stop the takedowns, make it happen. And by that logic, whoever wins this fight will finish. Andre will win by submission. Edmen will win by knockout. Like, whoever wins this fight will win by finish. I don't think it's crazy to have Edmen in your lineup. Then we have the newest fight on the card, Ateba Gautier. And he is now taking on Tristan Vines. Ateba Gautier, $9,800. But that was the price when he was fighting Ozzy Diaz. Ozzy Diaz kind of stinks. Ozzy Diaz can get knocked out. Ateba Gautier was going to knock out Ozzy Diaz very, very quickly. Very, very sneaky. He was just going to get it done. Now it's sort of a different matchup. Ateba Gautier is a nasty striker. He's got incredible speed. He's got good power. He does a really good job mixing up boxing and kickboxing. He does a really good job lighting up your guard, firing away, getting your arms to fall because it hurts too much to hold him up. He does fade as the fight goes on because look at the freaking dude. You don't need to see the rest of his body to imagine how jacked this dude is. Look at the neck. Look at the traps. Dude's jacked. You can't be that big, that fast, that explosive, hit that hard, and have that energy for 15 minutes. He does fade. But I don't think it's going to necessarily matter here because he is taking on short notice UFC debut Tristan Vines. And I think he gets it done. I think he probably knocks out Tristan. Tristan only has one loss in his career, and guess how it was. The reality is, Tristan is okay. He's much better than Ozzy Diaz, or at least it's a trickier matchup than Ozzy Diaz. He's a loose, creative striker. He's got range. He's got speed. He's got power. He has grappling as well. He is looking for a finish everywhere. If he takes you down, he's elbowing on top. On the feet, he'll bomb away. He's only listed. His official stats say 6 foot, and I checked multiple sources because when you watch his fights, he looks tall. He fights long. So it's like, how is this dude only 6 foot? I would have assumed he was like 6'3", maybe even 6'4", just based off of the footage. But he's listed at 6 foot. He fights very long. He manages range really well. He'll throw up a bunch of kicks. And while he does have power on the feet, he has no issues getting into a clinch, ripping you to the ground. He can find a finish anywhere, but he is sloppy. He does get pretty sloppy. He comes out there, tries to keep it tight, and then as the fight goes on, he's just getting messier and messier. I think Ateba knocks him out. That's what's supposed to happen here. He was on the card already. Ateba's the pick, $9,800. I mean, if he's going to get a sub 1 minute knockout, you get the bonus points. Like, I think you just have to do it. I think he has to be in your lineup. I think he finds a knockout. I think he finds a finish. Now, this is not as easy as the Ozzy Diaz fight. Ozzy, I mean, he's not athletic. I don't know what the hell Ozzy does. Tristan is at least athletic and dangerous. Ateba's going to be the pick. I will have him in my lineup. Then we have the main card opener, Joe Miserable Ass Pyfer taking on Abus Magomedov. Joe Pyfer, quite literally the most miserable person in MMA. Just start to finish. The rant I went on in the betting video, I'm not going to do that full rant here, but the reality is Joe Pyfer is living his dream. We could all agree that, right? Like, he was homeless, living on a bench. And now he's in the UFC. Has a new hairline. He's adored by fans. He's fighting for a living. He's living his dreams. And he still hates everybody. He hates everybody. You ask a question, he hates you. You criticize, he hates. Like, this dude is the most miserable person in the world. And he's living his dream. Imagine you're living your dream and you're still angry at the fucking world. And then somebody's going to be like, but it was his upbringing. He's a grown fucking man. He's a grown man. Get over it. Get over it. He's not some angry at the world teenager. This is a grown-ass man. Get over it. Nobody in the world has ever moved past a tough childhood. He is living his literal dream. If anybody should be appreciative and love everybody, it should be him. Somebody who came from nothing. Now you have shit. What are you still mad at? There's my rant, and I think he wins this fight. I actually think it's a perfect matchup for him. Joe Pyfer, despite being miserable, actually probably because he's miserable, hits hard as shit. He's knocking people out with one punch. He's giving people an insanely hard time. He is making stuff happen. He's a good striker. He can wrestle if he needs to. He does fade. His cardio isn't great. He'll slow down as the fight goes on. But lucky for him, so does Abus Magomedov. Abus Magomedov's cardio is also pretty fucking terrible. Abus Magomedov's got a little bit of quit in him. He doesn't like pressure. He is also a pretty versatile striker. He also has wrestling in his back pocket. I actually think Abus and Joe are basically the exact same fighter, but Joe Pyfer's a little bit better at a couple things. And I think the little bit more power, the little more accuracy in the strikes, the little more edge, I think those pieces are why Joe wins this fight. I think it's a spectacular matchup for Joe. I think he could potentially find a finish here. I think we're getting a discount on Joe because Abus has a couple of wins, But the reality is, against who? I love Bruno Ferreira, but he's pretty one-dimensional. And he fades. And he was losing that fight. The Pereira win, okay, well, Michel Pereira is just a shell of who he used to be. Well, Alves, is he even still here? Isn't Alves gone? And he opened with Dustin Stoltzfus win. I'm pretty sure he's cut too. I don't think Abus is insanely tough. He's got skills. He can get wins. We've seen it. But I think Joe, as hard as he hits, and if he puts the same forward pressure that Sean Strickland put, this win was in the second round. This wasn't the fifth. If it's the same pressure, just moving forward, letting your hands go, making Abus feel every single punch, he'll take a couple of desperate shots. I think Joe Pyfer can finish him. I think it is literally a tailor-made matchup. This is a perfect matchup for Joe. So as long as he wasn't too angry to train, he should get this done. Then we have Youssef Zalal taking on Josh Emmett. Youssef Zalal getting a real opponent. And I say that in his second UFC run, because if you scroll back, you'll see here, he fought Ilia Topuria, and as we all know, that was a very real opponent, and he won a round. That was 29-28. He won a round off of Ilia Topuria. He took Ilia down, he out-scrambled Ilia on the ground, and he outstruck him. That was a good, close fight. Ilia Topuria was wrestling Youssef because Youssef was outstriking him. Youssef is a very good striker. He likes to hang out on the outside, pop and go, pop and go, pop and go. He's very mobile. His striking defense is spectacular. He is hit with 1.8 significant strikes a minute. Everybody else is like 3, 4, 5. He is barely hit. He's one of the least hit he's the least hit fighters in the division. And then, after they cut him, because of this really tough slate, they cut him right about here. Then, after they cut him, he loses to Ilia. He loses to Choi. He loses to giant-ass Sean Woodson. Draw with Blackshear. They cut his ass. He gets 3 wins. He comes back, and bang, 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 bang. Looks good. 3 subs in a row before the decision over Calvin. And that's because he came back. He's shooting beautiful takedowns. He's subbing people immediately while still maintaining the striking. And we saw that against Calvin. And I think he does win this fight because Josh Emmett, despite having insane power in his hands, here's a fun fact for you. Josh Emmett has 1-6 fights in the UFC. He has 12 knockdowns in the UFC. That is insane. That's a ridiculous statistic. This dude has crazy one-punch knockout power and high-level wrestling skills. 2 problems. He's 40, and outside of his last fight against Lerone Murphy, he doesn't use the wrestling. He doesn't really use the wrestling. He only loses it when he's losing. It's a backup. Oh, I'm losing. Let me start shooting a takedown. Obviously, I think for the Murphy fight, there was the game plan, but he doesn't use the wrestling enough. And when he does use it, it's too late. So now they're desperate bad shots. Josh Emmett could absolutely knock out Youssef Zalal. He can knock out a horse. But I think Youssef Zalal is just too fast, too clean, not hittable enough. So he's going to dance around, avoid any chaos. Josh Emmett's going to be winging punches like a lunatic, not landing them. And Youssef cruises his way to a decision. I think he wins. I think it's straightforward. I will not spend the money on Youssef because I don't think he finds a finish, and I don't think he does anything other than avoid getting hit and just sort of rides to a decision. Then we have Yuri Prochazka and Khalil Roundtree. Whoever you think wins should be in your lineup, period. Yuri Prochazka, as we all know, just a psychopath. Just moves forward, throws 200 strikes, gets in your face. Very hittable, doesn't care, keeps moving like a zombie. 97 strikes, 3rd round finish. 69 strikes, 2nd round finish. Yuri Prochazka just moves forward, insanely tough, never quits. We did see a little bit of head movement in this Jamal Hill fight. All of a sudden, he's not getting hit as much. Yuri Prochazka is an impossible guy to break down because nothing he does is clean. Everything he does hurts, and he has found success. He's the former champion of the world when he submitted Glover Teixeira with friggin' 30 seconds left or something insane. And he's going to have a much tougher night than those odds will indicate because he's taking on Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree was very unappreciated. When he was on this run, this at the time was the longest active win streak in the division. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 4 knockouts. The longest active win streak in the division. So they gave him a title shot and everybody clowned him. He doesn't deserve that. with a knockout over Anthony Smith. Just completely ignoring the fact that he was on a 5-fight win streak, the longest win streak in the division, and 4 of them were knockouts. They're just ignoring that entirely. And then he went there, and yes, he lost to Alex Pereira. He got finished in the 4th round, but he looked good. He brought the fight to Alex. He wasn't afraid to get into it. His eye was shut. His body was beaten. He just kept moving forward. He's a good striker. He's got great leg kicks. He's fast. He's accurate. He's powerful. And we saw in his most recent win over Jamal Hill, he can be tentative. He can take his time and make sure that he's not putting himself into harm's way. Khalil Rountree is a very good fighter, and this is a very, very tough fight. I'm going to pick Jiri to win for one reason and one reason only, and that's because Khalil Rountree does not fight as well moving forward as he does moving back. And I think Jiri's just relentless pressure is going to have Khalil backing up, so I don't think he'll just have the best night out because he's going to be on his back foot, and he doesn't like fighting like that. But anybody who thinks Khalil Rountree wins, I'm not going to argue with you. He might win this fight. Jiri is very hittable. Jiri's been knocked out twice in the last year and a half. And Khalil Rountree hits hard. He's fast. He's clean. He's accurate. This is a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm on the Jiri side, but once we talk about DraftKings lineups, the value is probably on the Khalil Rountree side. Then we have our co-main event of the evening, Merab Dvalishvili taking on Corey Sandhagen. Merab wins this fight. Merab is $9,300. Merab is the greatest value DraftKings has ever seen. Period. End of story. Let's look. $9,000. He covered the salary, covered the salary, covered the salary, covered the salary, covered the salary. He did not cover it in the win over Jose Aldo because he held him against the cage the whole time. He did cover it here. He did cover it here. I don't know what it was here. He covered it, covered it, covered it, covered it. Literally. I mean, some of the greatest value we have ever had on a fighter. He lost to Signs in his UFC debut. He lost, and he scored 99 points. Lost. Scored 99 points. Merab is the greatest value DraftKings Fantasy has ever seen. He has $9,300. He wins this fight. And he should be in your lineup. Let's take a look at Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen, I think, is an unappreciated matchup here. He's long. He can strike. He can grapple. He's awkward. He's got that Dominic Cruz style movement. I think Corey's going to be a little bit trickier matchup than most people think. I don't think he's going to win, but if we take a look at his greater body of work, the only recent loss here is to Umar Nurmagomedov, where he faded as the fight went on. He was way too mobile. His whole game plan was, let me just move around like a psychopath and he won't be able to get to the legs. And then he slowed down. And then Umar got to the legs. Reality is Corey is very good. I understand he's affordable at $6,900, but he scored 31 points in a 5-round loss to Umar Nurmagomedov, and this might look exactly the same. Obviously, a Petr Yan loss, 79 points, 60 points in a TJ Dillashaw loss. Now, all of a sudden, these are solid points scored in losses, both of those 5 rounds. I just don't think he'll have this. I think it's going to look more like this because losing to Petr Yan, losing to TJ Dillashaw, you're defending some takedowns. There's a lot more striking than you're going to get in the Umar fight. So Umar's my pick. Umar's in my lineup. I'm not worried about it at all. And then we have Magomed Ankalaev at $8,900 in the rematch defending his belt. This is where it gets tricky. He was just in this exact same fight. 5 rounds against the exact same opponent. He only scored 84 points. And that's because he got no wrestling going whatsoever. He attempted takedowns. He didn't get any of them. Magomed Ankalaev, in my opinion, wins this fight. I do think he wins it more convincingly than he did before. I don't know if he'll finish Alex because Alex is tough. And Magomed may lean on the wrestling again. It's going to be an interesting fight because in the first fight, Ankalaev did a lot of striking, tried to work a lot of takedowns, got none of them, was never deterred, kept moving forward. But only one person was almost finishing this fight, and it was Alex. You can see we didn't get a knockdown from Magomed, but Alex was on ice skates, and it was a problem for a minute. I do think Ankalaev wins this fight. I am just a little worried about how many points he'll score. If we take a look at Alex, we all know his history. Former kickboxing world champion, came into the UFC, beats Izzy, becomes the middleweight champion of the world, loses that rematch, goes up to light heavyweight, just wins. Finally just lost, and now he's fighting as a contender for the first time since 2023. Alex Pereira, hits like a freight train. All the questions in the last fight were, can he defend the takedowns? And he did. The answer was yes, he can. He defended every single takedown, and he got one of his own. He's not recorded because it was like a trip, threw him to the ground. He didn't follow him, so they didn't record it as a takedown. But he threw Ankalaev to the ground, and he defended all the takedowns. So you could look at that, and you can say, well, he now knows he can defend the takedown, so he'll let his hands go. You can see he only landed 76 significant strikes the whole fight. He was not throwing punches because he was too worried about the wrestling. And while the logic is probably true there, that he felt the wrestling, he defended the takedowns, now this fight he'll be more active. That's probably true. I'm going to lean the other way and say Ankalaev felt the power, was undeterred, and now he's going to come out in this fight even more aggressive, because I can only imagine what's going on in your head when you fight somebody like Alex Pereira. Just the aura he had at that time. The way he was knocking people dead with one punch. Taking Yuri's head off with a kick. Like, the way he was doing that, I can't imagine what was in Ankalaev's head. And then he went in there and he felt the power. And then he almost finished Alex on the feet, and he's like, I don't care. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. So I think the rematch is wider. I think Ankalaev wins by a larger margin. I think it's a very straightforward fight. Ankalaev is going to be the pick. $8,900. I might chase some couple of bucks on the undercard where I'm more likely to get a finish. But guys, that is the breakdown. Join this crew of people. The crew of premium members that have put up over $1 million in winning tickets. The premium members that have gone to WeWantPicks.com, unlocked the fight simulator, unlocked the optimizer, and used all the tools. It is $10 for an entire month. A month for $10. You unlock everything instantly. No upsell, no cross-sell. $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. This is a very good fight card. Next week is UFC Rio. The week after that is Vancouver. The week after that is UFC 321. I absolutely love the stretch that we are on right now. Good luck this weekend. I am very much looking forward to the big fights being back.